Welcome back to Frontside Press. Get your adult beverages ready because remember, you cannot toast with anything but an adult beverage. It's bad luck is what I hear. So we're all back. Me,
Yes,
Jeff,
did you miss me?
Me and Julie. Welcome back, Jeffrey.
Thank you. I missed everybody. Nobody missed me? Probably
too.
not. I saw your ratings were like double without me being here. So like 9 people watched without me being here. That's horse crap. You 4 people who only watch when I'm not on the show, kiss my ass.
No, they were just all watching from your YouTube channel, which they should be subscribing to.
They should be. They should watch everywhere. Every Thursday, Facebook Frontside Press or YouTube at Musings with MGL. Welcome. Yes, Frontside Press, 8-ish. First Tuesday of the month.
There it is.
We have our favorite legal guest tonight. How's everybody been doing? Anything I missed? Anything exciting? No.
The day in paradise.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was gone for a few weeks. Nothing happened. Boring.
No,
all right.
Yeah, it's been.
Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next week. Yes, welcome to Frontside Press. I have missed everybody. I've been crazy. I haven't made a YouTube channel or a YouTube video in weeks about anything. I've just been kind of busy. We were out of town for a couple of weeks. We went on as I told everybody, we were going on our cruise to Europe. So we cruised around London, or England, Ireland, Scotland. That's where I'm wearing my official, authentic Irish hat purchased in, I don't know, somewhere in Ireland, Belfast maybe, something like that. I'm wearing my Loch Ness Monster Believe shirt.
Very cool.
Because we took a boat cruise around Loch Ness, looking for the monster.
Did you see Nessie?
That was cool. Yes, I did. We took a picture of it too. I sent a bunch of pictures to. That's what Carrie was talking about, just to plug them up.
Awesome.
To brag about my trip, but I don't know if they're going to go through in the email. But no, yeah, we saw it. We got a picture of it. I'll show it to you.
Cool.
You want to see a picture of our monster?
14 people. They didn't know Jeff was going to be back on.
Holy shit. They're going to bail out in a little bit. They're all here for the new gun law stuff. That's it. Probably 13 of those people have probably already been arrested for open carrying or going to a school or having a convicted felon, but now they can carry. They're all probably here to find out what to do next.
So we have Louis Soto, Jimmy Kemp, and Lana is on, and Lisa Newman.
Awesome.
Who else is on?
That's only 4 people. Does Mike not know how to count?
Why can't I see the rest?
I'm dyslexic, remember.
Cat's on.
Well, then you would have said 41, not 14. That doesn't make any sense.
Everybody get their beverage and we'll do the toast.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do our toast.
Corey gets out.
I got my Irish whiskey.
What you get?
Oh, I don't know. It's not Irish whiskey. It's Diet Coke. We did have a Guinness in Ireland. We had to walk up to a pub and order a Guinness in Ireland. And in Scotland, we had to order a whiskey, obviously. So we got time later in the show. I'll share some stories. But this is just Diet Coke.
Here's to everybody, all right? May the best of the past be the worst of the future. Roast.
I don't understand that. So, yeah, it's good to be back. It's hot. I don't know what the hell y'all did with the thermostat while I was gone, but Jesus Christ.
Florida. I love it in Florida. The weather's so great.
Right.
Yeah.
We have some neighbors down from Chicago for the 4th of July weekend staying at one of the neighbors' house. And that's what the woman kept saying the whole, I just love your weather. I just love your weather. So how long have you been here? Oh, like 2 days. I said, all right, Stay here a couple more weeks and then let me know what you think about our weather.
Walk outside.
Right. Well, they spent the whole day in the pool, so that's why they thought it was great.
Right.
They didn't have to put on a suit and go to work or drive to the store or anything. They're going from the AC house to the pool and then back to the AC house.
Right. Floridians get up. They walk from the air-conditioned house to the air-conditioned car, drive to their air-conditioned job, and then come back and go, the weather here is phenomenal.
Great.
Like, how would you know?
Yep.
Did you call
That's all the
somebody?
people up north. That's all the people up north do too. That's all the people over in Europe are like that. They don't have air conditioning over there. Like none of the restaurants or the pubs or the houses have air conditioning. Like the hotels do, and the McDonald's does, but nothing else has air conditioning. You go into a restaurant or a pub, they just got the doors open. So it's the summer there. It's still like 93 degrees out, but they don't have air conditioning because it costs too much money. Because they're just used to going from their heated car to their heated house to the heated subway to the heated workplace. So they're like, oh, it's not cold over here. What are you talking about? So when the sun comes, they love it. They're like, oh, this weather's great. And then when I told our tour guide, I said, yeah, it's like it's this temperature in December in Florida. He's like, oh, I don't know how you guys do that. I'm like, well, it's just the way that it works, I guess.
Yep.
But I don't know, how do you guys do that? I don't know. I can't fucking do an accent. Couldn't carry my gun anywhere. Couldn't carry my knife anywhere. I was defenseless the whole time.
Should have had a fork. Then you'd be
You
like,
can't
I'll
really
fork
take
you.
those anywhere. All their straws are paper. You can't get any silverware. It's weird. It's definitely weird. It's different.
Did you have a good time?
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Oh, you do? Show some pictures real quick. Then we'll get this out of the way, and then we'll talk about why everybody's here. See? Told you. Saw that bitch right there.
There she is.
Yep. Right off the back of the boat. There she was. That's not Photoshop or nothing. That's real. That's just some nice coastline. Ireland has the most beautiful coastline, the cliffs and the rocky cliffs and the water. That's like Arctic Ocean in the back there. On a clear day, it's a little foggy right now, but on a clear day, you can see Scotland because like Scotland's over there. So that's just some generic pics from the coast. That's the Loch Ness. That's that castle that you see in all the famous photos, the Urquhart Castle. And there's Loch Ness behind that. So we spent a lot of time walking around there. It's pretty cool. That's me losing all my money at the casino on the boat.
Attaboy.
Yep. Blackjacks don't know what they're doing. In France, we took this motorcycle tour through Normandy on these antique motorcycles. Obviously, you see the kids in the sidecar and me in the back. That was really cool. We got to drive all through Normandy. I had to ride bitch on the back of a guy because my legs were too long for the thing. But that was a lot of fun. That was really cool. We got the little helmets and they gave you the goggles and we had little scarves and stuff. So that was kind of neat. Just through the French countryside, through the Normandy area. That's me kissing the Blarney Stone. Yes, it's a weird view. It's a weird look. The stone is at the bottom. So that's a little suspension bridge that we had to walk across to get to some of those Irish views. That's pretty cool. And then there's the London Bridge. It's not falling down, though. It's just standing up.
Okay, good.
There's me at the Harry Potter freaking platform because, of course, the kids had to go to the damn Harry Potter platform at the train station.
So
I'm overjoyed. There's the family crest on our local brewery.
Awesome.
I wish. That's me at Buckingham Palace telling the king to fuck off because we don't like redcoats over here. You can figure out where that's at. It's a bunch of rocks in the middle of the
How big are they?
middle of the field somewhere. They're pretty tall. It's larger than you think. It kind of obviously it goes all around. That's about as close as you can get. We were about 5 days before the summer solstice, so all the crazy people go up there and do all their shit. So they had put ropes up and barriers to kind of keep people back. So unfortunately, we didn't get as close as you can usually get. And there were some weird people around doing all their humming and everything else like that. But they're actually pretty big. It's a neat little thing. And it's not just that. They have a bunch of hills everywhere else.
Are they like 15 feet tall? They're like 8 feet tall? Or
No, they're at least 15. I'm 7 foot or 7 foot. I wish I'm 6'1". They're at least double my height. So yeah, they're going to be in the 14 to 15 foot range.
Cool.
Huge and heavy. That's Kara with
What
some
is-
weird Scottish or Irish warrior dude in the middle of the street. That's the bikes again that we kind of rode through the field. It was really cool. But that Blarney Stone, so the Blarney Stone is on the bottom. People just think it's like a stone in the grass or whatever, but it was actually at the bottom of the wall that they built. So there's a cutout underneath it, and everybody has to lay on their back like that, and they slide you into this hole about 10 stories up at the top of the thing. There's two guys that are holding onto your legs to make sure you don't slide through the hole to your death, and then you kiss it, and they have a camera set up there. That was with my phone, but the wife of one of the kids used the camera, and the camera actually zooms in on your lips like kissing the stone. Now, mind you, there's about an hour and a half wait to kiss the stone. So you're at least kissing it after an hour and a half worth of people.
Oh.
But if you're there at like noon, it's probably like 5 hours worth of people. And they have little spray things there and wipers, and every hour they wipe off the stone.
Oh. Oh no.
So you're only kissing the same spot as like 30 people then.
Correct. It's one spot
All right,
that
I thought
everybody
it was something
kisses.
worse.
More than 30 every hour. They push you through. They're like next. So I'd say they probably get through at least a couple hundred people every hour, and then they finally wipe it off. So that was on like the 5th day on the trip. On the 6th day, I got sick and was coughing and sneezing the entire rest of the trip. So I was
Can't understand why.
from the Blarney Stone. I did not get COVID though. I tested negative for that, so I was fine.
Jennings says ciao from Florence, Italy.
How about that?
Nice.
Awesome.
In the neighborhood. So yeah, that was an interesting experience. A lot of people don't realize that that's where that's at. It's at the bottom of the thing.
What is the story with the stone?
So allegedly, there's about 4 different stories. So as you're walking up, they have the little plaques on the wall that tell you the different stories. Some of them are like actually historical, like it was brought over after a battle. Other ones are like, oh, a fairy got it because her loved one died and they cursed the stone or whatever. But the legend is that if you kiss the stone, you're gifted with the gift of gab, so you can talk. So briefly, Blarney was a real guy. He owned thousands of acres in Ireland, and
he only had one
Catholic.
stone.
Right. He was a Catholic, and the Queen and England were Protestants because of the whole Protestant Reformation thing. So they were coming into Ireland and taking all the Catholics' land because they wanted everybody to be Protestant. So Blarney converted to being a Protestant, even though he would sneak off and do the Catholic stuff like on the night. And then when the Queen would come into town, he would do all the Protestant stuff. And then he was able to sweet talk her into not taking his land. So for like 30 years, he was able to sweet talk the Queen into not taking his land. So that's why if you kiss the Blarney Stone, you're blessed with the gift of gab because you're able to talk your way out of having your land stolen by the colonist. There you go.
Cool.
So now that I've kissed the Blarney Stone, I should have the gift of gab.
Then
Talk
Cindy
people
hasn't
into
said one word. Seems to be
I know,
working.
right? Talk people into anything. So that was a neat trip.
It needed to.
I recommend it if anybody can do it. I don't know if I'd go back, though, because, again, it's just the different cultures. I was okay in most of the English-speaking countries, even though you really couldn't understand what they were saying, even though they claim they speak English. The day that we spent in France, like it was just – I've never been in a country where the people don't speak English. I'm sheltered that way. I've never really left America or whatever. So we were trying to find something to eat, and we couldn't read, obviously, any of the menus. We couldn't ask the waiter for a table. The kids didn't want to eat there because they didn't know if they could get chicken fingers because nobody can read the menu. If you get lost, nobody can tell you directions. It's just kind of frustrating to be in a country where we don't speak the language.
You know they speak English, right?
So 2 things. When I got back, I was telling that story to somebody who used to be in the military, and he told me the same thing, that when he was stationed there, they would all pretend that they couldn't speak English when they were talking to people, and then they would find out that they spoke English. It was like a joke or whatever. And the one restaurant we walked into we were like, we want to eat, and the lady's speaking French, but and then we said, okay, we're going to sit down, and then all of a sudden she says, oh, kitchen's closed, you can't eat. So she clearly spoke English but she didn't speak English until we told her what we wanted to do. Then all of a sudden she spoke English. So you're right. Apparently it is a thing over there where they do speak English. They just like to be dicks.
When I was over there in the 80s, they had flyers up all over the place saying, "Be nice to tourists because they like make our economy run or whatever."
Right.
You know, so and it's just douchebags.
Well,
Our guides that we had. Go ahead.
What's that?
Oh, I was going to say they had a problem with Disney over there, remember? Because the French people were so rude, nobody wanted to go to the French
Nobody
Disney.
wanted to go to Euro Disney? Yeah.
So,
Now they don't want to go because it's a left-wing garbage company, but that's a whole nother situation. The guides that we had were great. They spoke English. They were very nice people. But I don't know. So it was a good trip.
Good.
All right. What do we want to talk about other than me?
Well, we now have
Yes.
permitless carry, right?
Mike McGowan's worst nightmare has come to
There it
the
is.
state of Florida. We have permitless concealed carry. Where's the cheers? Where's the clapping button? We have permitless concealed carry. There you go.
There it is. Like, first
All right,
of all,
Cindy. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
First of all, like, I wouldn't have known this if you hadn't told me, but everybody thinks we have constitutional carry. I'm
Right.
like, no, you don't. And they're like,
Some people
"Oh,
are still
no,
calling
it's
it that.
Like, I was talking, when was it? Oh, it was today. And my buddy Scott, and we were talking, and he's like, yeah, man, I see you on Facebook, so I know all the stuff when you're bitching about shit. I know exactly why it's funny and everything like that. And he goes, and the constitutional carry. I'm like, he goes, I know. He goes, and I tried to explain it to a guy. He's like, no, it's, and I can carry open now. He's like, no, you can't. I'm like, here's the deal. You can tell him, you don't know where he's getting your information, but I get my information from the Minnesota gun lawyer, and I guarantee you, he knows more about it than your attorney. So, you can go do whatever you want. Yeah, I'm sure your attorney's rooting for you.
Yeah. I hope they do. All right, Cindy, lay it on us. Once again, let's tell people what's going on.
well, so our so-called constitutional carry, which, as Mike properly called it, the permitless concealed carry. We're now in effect, and people are looking at Florida to see the blood run in the streets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Blood
Even
run.
though we're the 26th state, so we tipped the scale. So more than half the states now have the same thing we have, or even more of freedom than we have. And yet, for some reason, they're convinced that Florida is going to be just a complete bloodbath. It could be because of Florida Man. I don't know. But yeah, so I saw that Billy. Oh my
So
God.
I got it right here. I pulled it up.
Yeah, you saw that.
Billy Baldwin. Take a guess of who
That's
Billy
it.
Baldwin is related to.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
Shooter
That'd
McGee
be Alec.
himself. Alec Baldwin. Here's what Billy Baldwin, the least known Baldwin brother, had to say. Florida passes concealed carry law this week. It's like the Wild West down there now. 2 questions. How soon before innocent people die as a result of this in some domestic, racial, road rage, or alcohol-related incident? How soon before a child, woman, or cop are struck down? Will the first incident occur at a 4th of July barbecue tomorrow? How many American and Canadian tourists will no longer winter in Florida because they don't feel safe? How much tourism revenue will Florida lose due to DeSantis' new Shootout at the OK Corral law.
Oh God.
And there's a picture of a gun with the handle in the shape of Florida.
Which is awesome.
I know. I might
Let's
steal
just
this.
say
I'm gonna steal
less
this picture.
people,
I'm gonna copy this
less
picture right
people
now
got
and start
killed
using it
this
as my
week
logo.
than they did on his dad's movie set. How's that?
Right? Yes. Less people have died from this than his brother's movie set. I agree. Yes. The irony of ironies. A Baldwin brother lecturing the state of Florida about gun safety and gun carry laws. So, and they do this with
Yeah.
every state. It's not just Florida. I mean, obviously they particularly hate Florida right now for all kinds of other reasons. But every time a state passes one of these things, they always say it's going to be the wild, wild west. That's like the phrase that everybody goes to with it. And it never happens. As Cindy pointed out, there's over half the country, half the states now have some sort of permitless carry or constitutional carry or whatever. And it doesn't happen. The statistics don't bear that out. So we're just next in line.
Well, we are, and
we
people
can
love
take
to
it.
hate Florida. Yep. But yeah, it is funny how they never look at their own blue states and blue cities where people are just dying constantly from guns, not from guns, from in which people are using guns. And it's
And they have the
but
strictest
when-
laws anywhere.
yeah, yeah, we can't look at that. We can't talk about that.
How's Chicago
Anyway,
doing?
so,
Right.
oh yeah, Chicago. I will say though, this was a little sad. Did you guys read about that little 7-year-old boy up in Tampa that was shot? This happened just the other day. I think it was either on the 4th of July or right around the 4th of July at the Courtney Campbell boat ramp. And apparently there were people on jet skis arguing. And again, the stories are all conflicting a little bit, but apparently there was some arguments between people on jet skis and people not on jet skis. And apparently they thought the jet ski people were too close to people in the water. Something happened. Well, anyway, gunfire erupts. Why? I just don't even know. But gunfire erupts. The grandfather of this little boy grabbed the kid, put him in his truck to get him out of harm's way. Bullet went through his truck, through his hand, and into the boy's head. So stuff like that just makes me so angry because it's not the gun, it's the person. It's the people who think guns are the answer to stupid little tiffs.
Because they've never been to any training. But yay, freedom.
Well, you don't know you don't know about these people. That's the issue, is we don't know any of the facts. They may have all been concealed carry permit holders. They may have been to dozens of classes.
That's it.
Yeah. Who knows where they went?
Hey, that's it.
7-year-old
they could
shot.
have been.
Go ahead. Yeah. 7-year-old
They
shot
could
killed
have
on
been-
4th of July after jet ski dispute in Florida. Tampa, Florida officers responded to a shooting at a boat ramp. Witnesses told police that a dispute broke out because one group of people were upset that another group were riding their jet skis close to shore where children were playing. One group got out of the water, Johnson said, and the argument escalated until someone opened fire. When the shooting began, the grandfather and the young man who was shot grabbed him and pulled him into the truck. When he heard the gunfire going on, when they were inside the vehicle, a round went inside the vehicle, hit the grandfather in the finger and the young man in the head. The child was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. He was trying to shield the boy when I felt the gunshot. Was visiting his grandparents from New Jersey. Yeah, the family is begging whoever shot him to turn himself in. Witnesses described the scene as two groups of Hispanic males shooting at one another, police said. So if I had to take a guess, there may be some gang background here or something going on. And the people were homicide. So, I mean, it may not necessarily be people, carrying under the new law who haven't had training. They could be criminals that shouldn't have guns in the first place, and no law is going to stop them from shooting. Or they could be people with concealed carry permits. I mean, anybody who's been through even if you haven't been through the training, a reasonable law-abiding person isn't usually going to shoot somebody over a jet ski incident. So they're probably punks anyway.
Yeah.
And I get people, and look, the whole training thing, obviously I understand that, but I'm on all these Facebook sites, the Florida concealed carry groups and all these kind of things, and everybody on there has been through the training, and yet there's always people on there going, well, if I'm in the road, this happened to me. I was driving and some guy got behind me, following too close, so I brake checked him, and then he pulled around me, and then I pulled around him and brake checked him again, and then all of a sudden he followed me to a parking lot and starts coming at me. Do I have a right to shoot him at that point? I mean, that's somebody who's been through the training. They have a concealed carry permit. They're a member of Florida Concealed Carry Group, and yet they're out there trying to start situations and escalate situations. So it has more to do with the person in general than it does with training. You can take an idiot and give him all the training in the world. That doesn't mean isn't going to pull a gun out during a road rage incident. And you could take somebody who's like, my mom took a class and got her training, but she's not going to pull a gun on somebody in a road rage incident because she doesn't want to shoot anybody on the road. So I think it has more to do with the people than it does any sort of training. But we'll see. I mean, if the statistics show that people carrying under this law without training start shooting people and we turn into the Wild West, I'm pretty sure we'll know about it because CNN and everybody else on the planet will be shouting from the rooftops how crazy Florida's gone.
I doubt that's going to happen.
Right.
Like my thing is the jackasses. Like my big thing with this is you got two numbnuts in Circle K showing off their Desert Eagles to each other.
Yeah.
Like that's my.
Well, they
big
can't do
concern.
that. Would be brandishing or open carrying.
It's like,
and they're not going to do that without training. How many people walk into your store and pull out their gun and they're like, "Hey, find out why my trigger's not working." You don't have to be at a Circle K. There's idiots out there now before the law was put into place.
That is true.
Hey, Bobby's on.
Crazy.
Idiots are idiots, man. Idiots are idiots.
Well, and some people just have anger control issues. They just,
right.
And unfortunately, it tends to be men. It tends to be men. Although nowadays we are seeing more and more women beating each other up. So I don't know. Something.
We lost her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cindy's still there.
No, we lost her.
Yeah, she's here. I mean, my comment on all those Facebook posts is, as concealed carriers, our goal should always be to de-escalate situations and not escalate them. So don't be brake checking people on the highway. Don't be following them because they're driving crazy. Don't be picking fights on the Taco Bell line. You got to let shit go. If you're gonna carry a gun, you have to overly let stuff go, in my opinion. And I think people who want to carry responsibly should know that, whether they take any training or not.
Michael Jennings says, "Is there any update on the pistol brace? Asking for a friend."
Nope. Well, I don't know. Cindy, go ahead. Is there any update?
No, there's nothing. They're just going to.
So you got to be careful. I'm going to tell people because people keep posting, and I've said this before. There are a lot of YouTube channels out there that like clickbait and stuff, and so they'll put a headline in there and say, "Brace rule is in trouble," or "Panic at the White House over brace rule," or whatever, because they want you to click on it and think something's going on, and it's nothing. You click on it, you watch the video, and it's all horseshit because they're just looking for clickbait. So do your own research on it. Don't rely on YouTube headlines or whatever. But no, as of right now, the brace law is in effect. There has still been no nationwide injunction. It hasn't been shot down. It hasn't been passed through the House and the Senate and signed by the president. I mean, it's not gonna happen. So for now, you're stuck with it until a Supreme Court ruling comes out. Fortunately.
And there's no guarantee they'll even do anything. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful. If you've looked at any of the decisions that have come out recently from the Supreme Court, they're striking the shit out of government overreach. I mean, they struck down the student loan executive order as unconstitutional. They struck down the not serving gay wedding people or whatever statutes. So they struck down affirmative action. So they've been on a tear over the last couple of days, and the liberals have been losing their mind over it. So and a lot of it is government overreach. They struck down an EPA one a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
That was some bullshit EPA law about cow ponds. And so they're really reining in the administrative crap. And since this is clearly an administrative rule, it's not even a law. I think if it gets in front of them, there's a high likelihood they strike it down. Now, whether they want to take it up, because maybe they figure they've had enough controversial stuff over the last couple of years, so Justice Roberts might want to just leave it. Who knows? But if it gets in front of them, I think we'll be all right, whether it gets there or not. But no, for right now, nothing has changed about the brace law. Tell your friend the law is the same. So what about constitutional carry then, Cindy? Can you open carry now? Can you carry on schools? Can you take it to the post office? It's everything,
No.
right?
Oh yeah, I wish.
Whatever
No.
you want.
No. Yeah, I heard on July 1st, I'm good to go.
Yeah, on
Jim,
July
you-
1st, convicted felons, everybody. Yeah, no, there's really no difference. I mean, if you really think about it, the only difference is to carry concealed, as long as you would be able to carry concealed in Florida, according to our laws, like you could apply for a concealed carry permit and be approved, then you don't have to apply and you can carry concealed. And that's it. It's really nothing else changed. You can't carry open. You can't carry if you're a prohibited person. You can't carry in places that our law says you can't carry in. So really, it just made it so you don't have to go through the procedure and pay the $75 or whatever it is to get a concealed carry license. So you don't have to get official permission from the government to do it. But you lose out on, if you don't get it, you have a waiting period when you go to buy a gun, which if you have the concealed carry permit, that's waived. You can walk out the same day with your gun, assuming you pass the check. And also, if you travel across to other states, if you want reciprocity, in pretty much every state, you've got to have something to show that you are licensed to carry in your home state. I think there are some states that you don't have to, but I think they're few and far between. That, you know, if they know Florida has a permitless concealed carry. But anyway, I wouldn't take that chance.
So let me just get it straight, okay? If I have my marijuana card,
Well, then you automatically have a gun issued with it.
and right, okay, because if I don't, you can't have both. But now that I don't need the concealed, I'm okay.
Sure.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that right?
No.
Go for it.
No. Man,
Yeah,
they
well,
just,
you could definitely
buzzkill
it, but-
people.
Yeah, because the laws still are out there. The law says that if you are a user of a prohibited drug, which marijuana still is under federal law, that you cannot possess a gun. If you can't possess one, you can't carry one, you can't shoot one. So the federal laws are still in place. And
But if
again,
I
we've
don't go to
talked
a federal
about
state,
a federal
then I'm
state
good.
like DC.
Well,
Yeah,
here's my
you-
question.
Yeah.
I got a hypothetical. Let's say you're going through the White House and you leave your cocaine just, I don't know, accidentally somewhere randomly around the White House. If I have left my cocaine somewhere else in the White House, can I still carry my gun?
Yeah, you don't
would
have
say
cocaine
no.
on you.
If I wanted
First of
to
all, you have a
hide
cocaine
it somewhere in the library, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Okay, double check.
Well, I don't think so, because I don't think you're allowed to carry a gun in the White House either.
Oh, what kind of
Just
fascist
minor
stuff is that?
details, but
No. I was under the impression that if you live in the White House, you can lie on your background check form. You can throw your gun in the garbage behind the school and it's only a misdemeanor.
Well, that does
I don't
appear
understand.
to be the case. Yes, but only if
That's all I'm
you're
saying.
of a certain party.
From a certain
If you're,
last name.
oh yes,
Well, it's
if-
got to
if
be the
you're-
Republican Party then, because they're the ones who are pro-gun. So only they would be the only ones to let something go like that, right? You couldn't be a member of the Democratic Party and violate the gun laws because they want gun laws.
Well, that's it. Keep saying we don't have enough gun laws, so that
just
must
saying.
be a Republican that did it.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying that would make sense to me.
You know, it wasn't
Yep.
Hunter's because Hunter wasn't at the White House. He went to that amusement park because he heard there was crack on a roller coaster.
That big crack on that roller coaster. That's some crazy
Yep,
shit.
He was all excited, so you know it wasn't his unless he left it when he left.
Here's why I know it's not Hunter's. Number one, Hunter would never leave his cocaine behind. It would be on him at all
Right,
times.
exactly.
And number two, he
realistic.
likes the hard stuff. He likes the crack. He doesn't like the powder stuff. A powder's a little too high class, a little too white collar for him. He likes to get
Right,
down and
I'm tired
dirty
of
with the
people
cracks and the
picking on Hunter.
strippers.
So Kat
Just saying.
says, just make sure you
If-
put your
if-
cocaine in the cubby.
If you go to the White House with your granddaughter, who you say is not your granddaughter,
To sniff her hair.
with your cocaine,
Well, no, it's your daughter who you say is not your
right,
daughter.
it's your daughter. It's not your daughter, but
Yeah.
it's also the grandfather says it's not the granddaughter. And you have
Right.
your cocaine and your falsified 4473. Am I good to go?
You should be.
Sure.
That's the
Awesome.
way it
Last
seems to
name
work.
is Biden.
Awesome.
Only if your last name is Biden.
Only as of
Right.
July 1st. Prior to July 1st, you can't do any of that.
That's it.
Right.
Yep.
So, right. So, no, yes. So, to reiterate, no open carry. It doesn't change where you can carry. You still can't carry on schools, post offices, bars, any of the normal prohibited places. Once again, for the cheap seats, nothing has changed about the law except you don't have to pay for the permit. And you must still be qualified to get the permit. So, if you're a convicted felon, drug user, foreign
Basically, if
national,
you're Hunter
illegal
Biden.
immigrant, whatever, you can't have one.
Dishonorable discharge.
Yeah, whatever the standard list is, you can't be any of those things. You still can't conceal.
I have
If you
two
fail the background check.
honorable discharges, so I'm twice as good.
Yes, you are, Mike.
I had one the other day because here's a tricky situation. It just came up in one of the Facebook groups again. Remember, in Florida, you can get a withhold of adjudication on something. So if you're convicted of a felony or a domestic battery, you can get what's called a withhold, which means you don't get a conviction. That means that you're not a prohibited person. However, you're not eligible to get a concealed carry permit until 3 years after the completion of your sentence. So somebody was on Facebook the other day going, oh, with the new law now, I got a withhold a couple years ago, I can carry. No, you cannot, because if you got a withhold within the last 3 years and of your sentence, not even since your conviction, let's say you get sentenced for a year, then it's 4 years, you have to be 3 years away from your completion of your sentence before you're eligible for a permit. Since you're not eligible for a permit, you cannot concealed carry. So there's still all these little weird, tricky things in there. Adjudicated delinquent, if you're 17 and get adjudicated delinquent, you can't get a concealed carry permit until you're 21, which you can anyway. But regardless, you can't do it. So you have to double check all the little idiosyncrasies about the law. And I will warn people, a lot of the sheriff's departments have been putting little flyers up on their Facebook pages and newspapers and stuff saying, remember, on July 1st, there's a new law. However, here's the things you still can't do. Most of those are wrong. And some of them are way over what the law says. So an example is even our local sheriff's department in Manatee County had one at the bottom that said, and remember, if a business owner has a sign that says you can't have a firearm, it is illegal for you to carry your firearm in that business.
That's not true.
Not true. But I've seen it on
That's
half
the
a
law.
dozen sheriff's departments list, including locally here in our circuit. So do not follow what the cops put on their thing. They're trying to overbroaden it. They're trying to make things illegal to scare people out of doing it. That isn't illegal. So don't follow what they say. Just do some quick little Google research. Subscribe to Musings with MGL. Watch Frontside Press on Thursdays. We've done like 6 episodes on this now. Maybe now that it's passed, we can move on to something else. Right. And then we can move on to something else. But don't just believe what the cops tell you. I believe that a lot of law enforcement agencies, especially the elected political ones, not necessarily the rank and file guys on the street, but a lot of the higher up political ones are salivating to get their hands on this law because they know that a lot of people don't know what the rules are. They're going to break the rules because they don't know what they are. Or even if they're following the rules, since they don't know what they are, they're going to get harassed. They're going to get patted down. They're going to get demanded for their driver's license and IDs. And they're going to just use this new law as a way to harass people and try and jack up their gun numbers. So that's all the more reason why you should still have your permit. In addition to what Sydney laid out, the waiting list and reciprocity, I believe you should have your permit because it's going to protect you from what I believe is going to be a lot of bad policing coming up here in the next several months. My 2 cents. Anything else? Anybody? Anything else we could say about this topic, or have we dead horsed it to death?
We have dead horsed it to death.
Although we still get marijuana questions, like every couple of weeks, I still get the marijuana question. So you can't beat it to dead horse enough.
No, well, some people aren't paying attention, but I mean, people's lives get busy. They can't pay attention to everything. But I feel like when you have guns or use guns, you have a responsibility to stay on top of the laws.
Yep.
Of course.
Continue
Buy Guttmacher's
training.
book. Get his updates. Go ahead, Mike.
No, just continue training. You got to stay on top. It's not, it's not a thing you can just take your 1 hour gun show class, fire you 1 round, and then, then call it a day. It is a lifestyle. It is your job to go out and train. It is your job to watch Frontside Press so you know what's going on with the law. Like I got to admit that not only the viewers of this show, but myself are very fortunate to be able to see you guys once a month. You know what I mean? The 2 of you once a month. Obviously, we see Jeffrey when he's not on tour in Europe. But, but like honestly, to be able to have you, to be able to answer questions and stuff like that, it's just, it really is a big deal. I find myself honestly very fortunate to have you guys as friends and be able to use you as a resource, So, not that I don't love you guys as people, but professionally, it's a big deal.
They teach us all in law school that the only things you're going to be doing at Thanksgiving is answering free legal questions.
About things that is not your specialty.
That's always not your specialty. You always hear that doctors always have that problem too. Every time they go somewhere, oh, you're a doctor? What's wrong with my elbow? I don't know. I'm a foot doctor. Like I don't know. Real estate agents, I think that happens to all the time. How's the market doing? It's just one of those things. We're used to it. But yeah, anytime anybody has any questions, obviously they can just email us or message us. I don't charge for that kind of stuff. I'll bill somebody a consult fee if they have like a specific question about how do I restore my rights or whatever. But if it's just a general question, hey, can I carry on a Tuesday when it's raining after July 1st? Just shoot us emails.
Well, you got your marijuana card. Good.
Exactly.
Yep. And I'm the same way. We spend a lot of time on the phone with people that have questions about gun trusts or just gun laws or transferring firearms, things like that. And we don't charge for it. Like Jeff said, the only time I would charge, and it wouldn't be all of a sudden you're going to get a bill in the mail. It would be, it's specific to you. It requires research or work. Right. If it requires more than 5 minutes of research, if I have to go look some stuff up, blah, 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 then I'll say, yeah, I got to charge you a little something here, or obviously if people do decide they want a gun trust, then they're going to pay for the gun trust. But I do find that as I talk to people about gun trusts, people have weird conceptions about them. And so many of them really don't need them. And I tell them that. I'll ask them the appropriate questions and I'll say, no, in your particular situation, unless you just feel like giving me money, you don't really need a gun trust. Not right now. You may at some point later. But so, yeah, I mean, we're here. And, I feel like, Jeff and I, we both feel like this is our community and this is how we give back. So
That's great. Cindy, I gave Mark your contact information about the gun trust, and he needs a will as well.
Cool. We will be happy to help.
Mike.
So
yes, sir.
Oh,
Don't disconnect. Don't
You will?
disconnect. 'Cause I need to talk to all you guys. So
You
don't
will?
disconnect before you talk to me after.
everybody should do estate planning, no matter what.
Yep.
That's what Beth said. She's thankful for them.
Go ahead.
For gun
Awesome.
lawyers. Yeah.
I'm going to read we're coming up on the end here, and then Mike, it looks like you're still kind of uncomfortable from your big crash or whatever. So I'm going to read something real quick here that's funny, and then we'll get out of here. So the Tallahassee Democrat, which is a newspaper, as everybody probably knows, has an article. The concealed carry wasn't the only law that went into effect on July 1st. Like something like 200 laws or something went into effect. And they have their top 8 most controversial laws that went into effect on July 1st. And I have a couple I'm going to add to the end of it. So what do you think is the number one controversial law that went into effect on July 1st, according to the Tallahassee?
Permitless carry.
You can, number one, you can carry a concealed weapon without a permit. But the public safety law removes the requirement for a concealed weapons license and its mandatory background check and firearm training course before you could. The bill also adds private schools to the list of educations, blah, 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 blah. Number two, if you're an undocumented immigrant, that the Tallahassee Democrat using the popular undocumented immigrant phrase. If you're an undocumented immigrant, it will be harder for you to find employment in Florida and criminal for anyone to transport you in or out of the state. Controversial. Number three, if you use a public bathroom in Florida, you are required to use the ones that line up with your sex assigned at birth.
I keep wondering how people are going to enforce that.
They're not. They're just going to put the signs on the wall and nobody gives a shit. Because you're going to be too busy at the bar drinking, nobody's going to care. Trans people are now barred from entering certain bathrooms that do not match their gender. Facility requirements based on sex applies to bathrooms at facilities such as public schools, colleges, universities, state and local government buildings, prisons, and jails. Now, I don't know how the hell you're using the wrong bathroom at the jail. They usually have separate.
Well, they put
that.
some guy that identifies as a woman in a female prison, and
Right.
what he raped.
They don't do that in Florida. Yeah, other
2
states do
women
that.
and got 3 others pregnant.
Yeah,
I don't know how
Yeah,
a
they
woman
don't do
does
that in
that.
Florida.
I thought it was guys that got pregnant.
Anybody can get pregnant. Pregnant people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pregnant people. Oh, and it's chest milk. It's not
So,
breastfeeding. It's
Under
chest
the
feeding.
law, people who enter bathrooms designated for the opposite sex could face trespassing charges. So that's how you enforce it, I guess. The bill includes exceptions for situations involving bathroom use by children under the age of 12, seniors, and people with developmental disabilities. The Florida law also defines a female as a, quote, person belonging at birth to the biological sex, which has the specific reproductive role of producing eggs. Lawyers.
Okay.
It defines a male as a person belonging at birth to the biological sex, which has the specific reproductive role of producing sperm. So our state statutes now have to have freaking sex ed shit in them. Oh, crazy, crazy world.
Crazy.
What else you got?
Number 4.
Wait a minute. Pablo
Pablo has
says.
a comment. He
Pablo's
says,
got a problem with that?
No, he has a comment for you. He said, "We appreciate these first Tuesday shows."
Yeah, I know, right? Yep, we're almost done. Number 4, schools in Florida will be starting later. Number 5, healthcare providers can deny you service based on their moral, ethical, or religious beliefs. That has to do with abortion and stuff like that. Here's a big one. Number 6, if you're a teenager, you can't drive a golf cart in Florida without a permit or driver's license. I'm not necessarily opposed to that because they drive like idiots on the road. You can't use TikTok on campus Wi-Fi or on a school or government issued device.
Awesome.
You can now fly some flags and park your boat in back, whether your HOA likes it or not.
All right.
Wow.
Yep. That's all about the United States flag stuff. So that's the top 8. Yeah. Yep. Starting Saturday morning, homeowners may fly portable, removable official flags no larger than 4.5 feet by 6 feet, regardless of any HOA covenants, restrictions, bylaws, rules, or requirements to the contrary. Obviously, that has to do with people flying, the American flags and probably military flags, and they say you can't do it. It includes the United States flag, the official flag of the state of Florida, a flag representing the United States Army, Navy, blah, 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 a POW flag, a flag honoring first responders. You are also allowed to put up a freestanding flagpole no more than 10 feet. It also blocks HOAs from restricting homeowners or their tenants from putting anything in their yards which aren't visible from the front or from an adjacent parcel, including when on limb to boats, yada, yada, yada. So that's good. So I would put on this list number 9 for anybody who cares about family law. They finally did away with permanent alimony. So now you can't just be lazy and get alimony the rest of your life. You're going to have to work after your divorce. You can still have temporary, durational, bridge the gap, but no more permanent alimony. And the most important, what I believe to be non-controversial law, is that defense attorneys have now been added to the list of protected classes. If you beat up your defense attorney, you get an enhancement. You get a higher sentence. You get higher scores. We have now been added to the list of protected class. So anybody who attacks me, if you survive that attack, you're also going to be prosecuted.
Attaboy.
If by some miracle you actually live to see the inside of a courtroom, you will now face enhancements. So that's
After I get done beating your ass, you're going to get sentenced more.
That's right.
So Maria asks about pride flags.
No, that wasn't on the list.
Okay. And I know
that, I don't know how far, since they specifically designated certain flags, quite frankly, that may not hold up to a constitutional challenge. If they'd have just put any flag, I think it probably would have held up. But if, based on my reading, if it's really only those list of pro-America military flags or whatever, but anything else, BLM flag or whatever can't be, that they may have a problem with that. But we'll see how that goes. So there you go. Lots of new laws in Florida. Do your research. If you can't figure it out on your own, do a consult with an attorney, whether it's gun laws, family laws, whatever. But a bunch of new laws. So good to see everybody back. I missed y'all. I was gone for a couple weeks in Europe, and then we went to a Cure concert last week. My wife dragged me to see the Cure up in Tampa, so I had to miss 3 weeks in a row. Other than that, Frontside Press, Musings with MGL. Cindy, have you changed your name now? Are you still?
No, still Minnesota Elder Law.
Minnesota Elder Law for Cindy Clark, Frontside Press, Musings with MGL. Any questions, shoot us. If you want to test this new law, give me a call when you get arrested, because I'll be happy to help you out.
All right.
What about you guys?
Thank you all for supporting the show, watching the show, sticking by us, play music.
Subscribe. Still trying to get to 1,000.